How about, all of you guys mentioned that this was in the first, like every Bschool, how we journey starts, you get into the first trimester and your placement starts and you are placed. Tell me from the time back then, the amount of knowledge you had versus right now, what do you see as a difference in each one of you guys?
Talking about finance specifically, the amount of knowledge or the understanding of the industry we have right now is incomparable to what we had when we came here or when we gave our interviews.
Initially, I started when I applied for multiple colleges. I was not that much sure about going for finance actually.
So as I mentioned, I am from a freshers background, so I didn't have any kind of knowledge. So I went on and I talked to my professors and my colleagues.
So do you guys actually get your degrees from the government? That's how what it's always heard and spoken about?
It is absolutely.
Alright, so hi everyone, welcome on board. Today we are here at NIBM Pune and we are going to meeting 3 students who have got placed at really amazing companies like ENY, BNY and so many other opportunities that banking industry brings to us. So let's hear it from them. What helped them get the placements and how can all of you guys, once you are on this side, make the most of life at NIBM Pune? So welcome on board, guys.
Hi, ma'am.
Lovely. Good to see you all. So tell me a little bit, where are you guys placed right now? How about you, Rakshit?
So first of all, hi, my name is Rakshit. I was born and brought up in Gurgaon. I later studied my bachelor's in business administration from Graphic Era University, and currently I'm pursuing MBA in banking and finance from NIBM Pune. I'm currently in summer internship. I've been placed in Barclays in the role of compliance.
Interesting. How about you guys?
Hello everyone, I am Ms. Ravni Vishalra Bhuyar, a resident of Amravati, Maharashtra. I have done my graduation in Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, and then I joined NIBM for a PGDM course in Banking and Finance, and I have been placed as a risk intern in EY.
Hi everybody, my name is Dhruv and I'm from Shimla. I've completed my bachelor's in business administration from Chandigarh and I had a specialization in finance during my final year. I am here pursuing PGD MBA and FS from NIBM Pune and I am an upcoming summer intern for BNY.
Interesting. So you're at Barclays, you're at EY, you're at BNY. These are all coveted companies and roles which, everybody looks forward to. What do you think helped you to, crack these interviews? Like your past journey or your exposure or, the learnings at NIBM Pune? What was the most important?
Yeah. So I'll take that question up first. So I was selected on the first interview on campus. BNY was the first company to come for the interview on campus, although Barclays was first to start the process, but BNY came first to the campus. So at that time, we had not really covered a lot of our curriculum for the first term as well. So the interviewers had to rely upon measuring our aptitude as well as our willingness to learn, or you can say how well aware we are about the situations, how we absorb information, and how will we respond to newer scenarios or situations. So the interviews basically looked into us for our aptitude towards finance, about how well we understand situations. Like taking my example, in my interviews, the conversation stemmed towards my interests, and I ended up answering geopolitics, which has always been my favorite. So they provided me a couple of situations like we had just gotten out of the India-Pakistan heat at that time, and there were also oil situations rising up with the US and Russia. So they asked me what did I think, what the reasons for those situations, what was the finance and economy behind it, and what did the companies have, the countries have to gain from those situations. So based upon how I answered those questions, how I structured my answers, and what statistics or numbers I used, they judged whatever aptitude I had, or how well I absorbed information and was able to apply that in practical scenarios.
Okay, that's interesting.
I would like to continue. In my interview, they checked majorly about the vision because it was in the very beginning of the term. I explained them how I would be a better suit because they explained about the situation that working at EY is a challenging situation because there was a news around at that time. So on HR side of question, they checked that. And technically, you should be aware about basic banking terms, basic finance terms. They checked about how well I know about the risk. The interview they asked me about the basics of market risk, liquidity risk, climate risk. These were the domains they asked in the technical side. Also, if you're preparing for an interview, if you're going for any interview, you should be able to pitch yourself as the best candidate for that particular role. So I think I got an edge over that, because technical questions they asked, majority of the students could have easily answered to that, because that is what we have been taught over here. So you
Yeah.
get an extra edge. If you want to crack an interview, you have to put yourself as the best candidate out there. You have to explain your vision, why you're the best suitable candidate. So they asked me to link my extracurricular. So as I was an NCC cadet, so they asked me about that. I related it with that particular role. They said a challenging situation. I said I managed multiple things during my graduation. So that is how you relate your past experiences and put yourself forward as the best candidate for that particular role.
Lovely. How about you?
My interview experience was actually quite comprehensive. So Barclays started, as my colleague has mentioned, Barclays came in first. So they earlier had a psychometric and aptitude based test, and later they shortlisted us. So we had a couple of rounds of interview. We had two specific rounds of interview. In the first round of interview, as I mentioned, my role is compliance based. So the entire first interview round was compliance specific. So they asked us a lot of situation based questions. Like, they understood that I'm a fresher and majority of the candidates were freshers. So they knew that we had very little knowledge about the finance and the compliance, all the kind of regulations and everything. But they still talked us about the situation questions, like what happens if the market regulations changes, what happens if the investment opportunities are hindered by the RBI or any kind of other nationalities, because Barclays has been dealing with European Union, India, and every other country. So if those regulations changes, what happens then? So those was the first half of the interview that went on. The second half of the interview, the round two that happened, was CV specific. So whatever was mentioned on my CV, they actually pinpointed everything and they asked me. They actually highlighted everything, that this is important, this is important. That's why I've asked him. There was something I mentioned, a project about capital asset pricing model, which I've done in my undergrad. So they started asking me about capital asset pricing. They started talking me about what are the linkages between different betas and different technicals. They wanted to verify whether I've done the project or not. And yeah, later on they started getting into a lot of my extracurricular activities as well. So I've been a good debater throughout my life. I used to participate in a lot of modern United Nations conferences. So they started talking me about little bit about the geopolitics, what happens right now, have you read about UN Carters or anything. So that was how my interview went on. So
Lovely. Can you tell me what is exactly compliance? Like you said, your first interview was based on compliance. So for people who are listening who have, not yet come to a banking school, what would they know about compliance?
even I think even before I had a shortlist before the Barclays, I didn't know what compliance was. So as I mentioned, I'm from a freshers background, so I didn't have any kind of knowledge. So I went on and I talked to my professors and my colleagues, what is compliance. So compliance is basically, there are a lot of financial regulations around that. As we are an institute for RBI, I think that we are the best known from the regulations. So there are a lot of regulations based on investment point of view, what are kind of domains that a bank can work. There are specific acts that RBI has put forward, like Banking Regulation Act. There are a lot of foreign exchange acts as well. So as Barclays has been dealing with a lot of derivatives, securities market, there are different kind of regulations that comes in RBI. So as a compliance team, you have to understand that any kind of deal, any kind of investment opportunity that is coming up is not violating that kind of regulations, because that could cause a lot of losses for the company, a lot of fines from the companies. So that is the majority of our work in compliance department.
Lovely. That's amazing. How about, all of you guys mentioned that this was in the first, like every Bschool, how we journey starts, you get into the first trimester and your placement starts and you are placed. Tell me from the time back then, the amount of knowledge you had versus right now, what do you see as a difference in each one of you guys?
Uh, Talking about finance specifically, the amount of knowledge or the understanding of the industry we have right now is incomparable to what we had when we came here or when we gave our interviews. Even in our interviews, they asked about what were our plans for learning more, developing more, what skills we plan to acquire, what tools we plan to learn. So there is a very huge spike in terms of ability. Talking about our curriculum also, we have now started with subjects about different financial market products or risk management or banking specific topics like banking operations management. So now we actually understand the niche in which the let's say the finance terms we used in our application interviews or summer internships, we use those terms, but now we actually understand where those terms are derived from, where they are rooted in, and how the industry actually works, from the simple break even points for banks to their interest margins and to their NPA ratios. I mean, everything is well explained and well taught in our institute.
Amazing. That's awesome. What has been your key learning from this entire 1 year by now?
Initially, I started when I applied for multiple colleges. I was not that much sure about going for finance actually. It was one of the options I chose from what I had available at that time. But after initially the intent was for placements. But after getting into the institute, I understood how interesting that subject is. You get to learn from the diversified subjects. You understand accounting, you understand econometrics, you understand everything. And being able to understand the sheets of business is the very important thing if you understand, if you think about any particular business or any particular company. So understanding all of those basic things, and also diversified, we also understand what are mutual funds, as he mentioned, financial products and everything. So that is what has generated interest in me. I was completely malleable while after joining the institute, but after then I have, till now, what I have learned, I have turned into half a financial person, as I can say.
Lovely. That's interesting. So you mentioned, this was one of the options. If I may ask, what were the other options, and what made you decide ki I will go into banking and NIBM Pune? Tell me, what were your options?
Okay, so I applied to colleges through ZAT because I was from general category and cutoff for CAP calls last year was 94 percentile. So I applied through ZAT. I had options to choose from IMT Ghaziabad, GIM Goa, and Exam Bhubaneswar. So by doing the due diligence and learning about the course more, gone through a lot of YouTube videos, checked one of our videos also. CATKing was the channel I followed for throughout the process actually. So where I understood that if I want to pursue a career further, I want to choose that is very niche and I'll be able to cope up with it.
Lovely. That's interesting because, a lot of people have this doubts and myths ki, what will be the kind of roles that I will do? What is the outcome of NIBM? What am I going to study? Because, you think about the other programs, that I'm going to first year do marketing, finance, operations, HR, second year I'm choosing my specialization. How is it for all of you guys? The kind of subjects and everything. How's the curriculum design?
Rakshit, you want to take that up?
Sure. So there are a lot of subjects in the curriculum. As I have mentioned that the curriculum is very rigorous and very intensive. So most of the subjects which are taught in the second year, finance related subjects which are taught in the MBA in the second year of the other programs, are taught in our first and second semester itself. So we are learning about bonds, we are learning about interest rate risk, we are learning about market risk in the first and second semester itself. We're learning about econometrics. We are working with different softwares which are important in financial modeling and everything, like Strata and eViews. One of the points I have to mention is that you have mentioned that there are students who are studying in MBA programs. They study about marketing, HR. We do have marketing subjects as well. I think last year in the second semester it was taught by our dean in Kaushik Mukherjee sir, which is actually he taught us about the marketing management. So we learned about the 5 Ps and everything. So it's not something that's entirely finance, but different. It's like a T-based knowledge system that we follow. That there is a broader knowledge in all the subjects, a little bit of knowledge in all the subjects, but a deeper knowledge in the finance related subjects.
That's interesting. That's a very nice way to put it. So yes.
Yeah, I wanted to add to what he was saying. So we have Kaushik sir teaching us marketing with applications in finance, and we have Shomi sir teaching us organizational behavior, which is basically equivalent of HR. And his classes are, fabulous. Every single class is a new case, is a new exercise, is a new activity in understanding how managers, human resource managers or organizational development associates are supposed to think about people, about teams, about structures and structures of organizations and various disciplines in which people work. So it's not that everything is finance, but everything has their applications in finance here.
Lovely. That's very rare that you find students loving organizational behavior classes. Half the world says it's boring, and you realize it once you go inside the corporate. But good that you like them right now itself. So, if I can say, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You are doing everything: marketing, finance, HR, operations. But that can be executed or applied in the banking industry or financial industry overall.
Yeah, I'd say we have an 80-20 structure.
Lovely. Interesting. Great. So now you mentioned about, some of these faculties who teach marketing, who teach HR. Tell me who's like the best faculty who you like from finance perspective, because I have seen so many things happening on campus. I have like we were just talking a while back, your fest is happening today. There's a risk management thing. There's an FSR report happening. So I can sense there's a lot of financial expertise running around here. Do you guys also get to interact with them? Do you get to study that as well?
Yes, ma'am, actually. Personally, my favorite faculty was Tasneem, ma'am. She taught us statistics in the first term, and that was the best class I have ever had in NIBM. Secondly, accounting classes I liked. It was taught by Dipali, ma'am. So I was skeptical about being able to cope up with the rigor that this course provides us with. But the amount of ease this people provide teaches the accounting was done in very basic manner. That it was taught in a very ease to us, and the scores also, the results have been declared. The scores of the students are not that different for commerce or for engineers, so they make sure that everybody coming here from diverse backgrounds is well accommodate they accommodate them well to that particular course, is what I can say.
My favorite faculty would be Kedarnath sir, because I like his teaching philosophy. Kedarnath sir taught us financial markets and products. So his philosophy in teaching has always been a repetition of the same context in different scenarios and interconnection of those scenarios, so that you actually get to understand the system itself rather than understanding something in isolation. You get to understand the gears in a machine and how the machine itself operates. And the his teaching style is very unique, I'd say, in an institute like this. He makes sure that everybody comes out on the same level, and his lectures, I mean, in depth, are absolutely fascinating. He's also willing to answer any and all questions we might have. And one thing he always stresses upon is the quality of the lecture over the quantity of the curriculum covered, or let's say of the topics that can be introduced.
Awesome. That's really nice. I can see that, you've got a different diversity coming in from all of you. How about, this is all like we've done theory, we've done padhai and everything. Do you guys also get to have fun? You've got like a beautiful, huge campus, but it's already driven by RBI. So, वैसे restrictions है सबकी fun भी है on campus.
uh, there is a bit of a fun. I think when I came in from Pune, the entire hectic of the MBA curriculum is very hectic. So the first couple of months just went by snap. So you just can't even understand that you have time for fun or something like that. I have not mentioned that there are classes. I think they have not mentioned, but there are classes in our batch where I feel dumbfounded. That they mention words like I don't even understand. There comes Arindam sir. He keeps talking about stress testing. He keeps talking about Basel 3 reports, and I'm like, we don't know. But you have to go back. You have to go and research. But there are a lot of fun committees are over there. There are a lot of committees and projects. I myself am part of culture committee. So as the way of talking, I think the audience could also judge. I'm not a very big academician, so I don't really like to keep studying for long hours. So my creative outburst is getting part into organizing a lot of events. So we have, as I've mentioned, the coaches happening right now. We have a lot of cultural events happening right now. So we organize a lot of stuff. I go up on the stage, we anchor, we interact with the students. We try to create a light kind of mall in the campus. There are a lot of sports events also happen. Outside the campus, there are different kind of ways that people could. It's Pune at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
It's a fun place for sure. Nice.
Yeah, talking about what he said, right? Up till now, like cultural committee has gotten to dominate in terms of fun and leisure on Ganesh Chaturthi, on Diwali, and different multiple occasions on Christmas as well. But now Spectra is getting their time to shine. The Fest committee is getting their time to shine with the Adi Kosh. So there are also a lot of things beyond the curriculum that are also happening on the campus. You guys will get to see that once you come here.
Lovely. Awesome. That's amazing. Tell me, what is the favorite part of the campus? Like, it's such a beautiful big campus. Where do you, when you have nothing to do, you have no fest, you have no padhai, no assignments, what's your space that you would like to be in?
Rooms.
And catching up on sleep. How about you guys?
The road, actually. When it starts from the gate and it's till the end,
Yeah.
till the academic block. So at night, that road feels very mesmerizing and amazing to walk for the long walks, have conversation with friends. It's very relaxing place to hang out and have chit chat with your friends.
True, I agree with you on that. It's a very peaceful
Yes.
campus.
What she said might seem out of place, but once you get to see what that road between the two lanes of trees looks like, man, you'll be impressed. My favorite place on campus would be the lecture halls, because even after classes, like we have a structured time system for classes, like mornings for juniors and evenings for seniors, as well as we have elective courses which different students participate in. But aside from the lectures, we have a couple of other lecture halls also open, and we can get sit there with our friends. We can plan for case studies, we can plan for case comms, or some events we might be planning, or we might be helping some other committee, because this is a student driven campus. So the student interaction here is on the next level, and those lecture halls serve as a meeting point where we can work, have fun, and do planning undisturbed.
Lovely. That's amazing. And there's been a lot of, like, all of you student driven, you mentioned there's a lot of changes also this year with no acceptance, only CAT and GMAT coming in. You're dropping cutoffs. So you have to make sure that, that reaches out to people. And I think that's one of the good things. Like, for all the students who are listening to us, you might be always hearing NIBM cutoffs were 94, 95 percentile for CAT. Now we are expecting 80, 85, I guess. And no sectional cutoff. So that's a very big advantage, since this time a little differentiation was there in quants, especially of slot 3. But it's always there. Someone might be very good at quant, someone might be very good at wobble. It depends on your own strengths. That's pretty interesting. Tell me, everyone was talking about here when you said that, there's exposure, there's RBI involved. So do you guys actually get your degrees from the governor? That's what it's always heard and spoken about.
It is absolutely true, ma'am. We have governor and the directors of all renowned banks of the country. They come here. Also, we provide the gold medals through their hands. They sponsor the gold medals to the top 10 students of our institute, top 10 best performers throughout the 2 years. And that is absolutely true, that we are being handed over our degree through the hand of governor. And that's the ultimate thing I liked about this institute.
Awesome. That's really nice. I think that's been a really lovely conversation with all of them. So there's a lot that you have in store here, especially to learn, and then the outcome being the placements, like we already spoke about. Amazing faculties, directors, all coming from the fraternity of the banking industry, and eminent experiential projects, which I think they bring on board as well also. So there's a lot for you guys to know more about, and any queries, questions you have for them, drop in the comments. We will take that up, and looking forward to seeing you guys make it to this side by next year as well. So all the best and take care. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on board today.
Thank you, ma'am.